You have reached the summit. You have spent decades navigating the wreckage and rewards of life, building a foundation of character and competence forged in the fires of real experience. You have weathered storms that break younger men and cultivated a peace that only comes from knowing exactly who you are. Then she appears. She brings the energy of a sunrise and a curiosity that feels like a challenge, making you feel vital again. But this is the moment of greatest danger. Most men react by slowly dismantling the fortress they spent a lifetime building just to fit into her smaller, more fragile world. They trade their sovereignty for the fleeting novelty of her approval. It is a tragedy of lost potential, but you will not be one of them. To navigate this dynamic with true power, you must adopt the architecture of asymmetric sovereignty. These are the 8 non-negotiable laws that protect the man you have become, ensuring you never again compromise your mission for the sake of a distraction. If you are ready to stop auditioning and start leading, like and subscribe to this channel. Join the ranks of men who refuse to settle. Let's begin. The first law is the sovereignty of narrative. You are the architect of your own history. You are not a guest in her reality, and you are not a character waiting for her to dictate your lines. The first error a man makes is assuming his role is to be a performer in her story. He waits for her cues, adjusts his schedule to fit her rhythm, and seeks her approval as if she were the critic of his existence. Imagine a man who has built a cathedral, a structure of immense historical and spiritual weight, only to start tearing down the stained glass and buffing the stone floors because a passerby thinks the light is too dim. That is you when you let her dictate your value. You must reclaim the pen. Your narrative is defined by your mission, your standards, and your history. When you enter a connection, you do not ask for a part, you offer the invitation to witness yours. If the scene does not serve the story you have spent decades writing, you cut it. You are the sole author of your internal reality, and you owe it to the man you have become to never allow an underwritten character to rewrite your script. The second law is the law of strategic depth. When she arrives with the spark of youth, the trap is laid, you feel the urge to mimic it. You soften your edges, you chase her trends, and you pretend that the decades behind you are a weight rather than a foundation. This is a fatal calculation. Think of a seasoned mountain guide. He does not try to run up the slope like a novice tourist, gasping for air and risking a fall just to prove he can keep up. He knows the path, he knows the weather, and his pace is deliberate, steady, and inevitable. Your age is not a liability, it is a high-elevation asset. You do not need to descend to her level to be relevant. When you remain anchored in your experience, you become a point of gravity. She is not looking for a peer to mirror her own lack of development. She is looking for the depth, the stillness, and the wisdom she has yet to acquire. She is looking for the mountain, not the tourist. Leverage your altitude. The third law is the principle of non-essential presence. By being everywhere, you become nowhere. You have allowed your presence to become a commodity, freely traded for her attention. This is a bankruptcy of influence. Your time is your most finite currency. It must be spent with the precision of a strategist. The principle of non-essential presence dictates that you manage your availability with ruthless scarcity. You are not on call for her whims. You do not respond to her tempo. You set it. Imagine you are a rare artifact in a museum. You are not on the street corner for anyone to handle. When you withdraw your attention, you create a vacuum, a space that she must fill with her own curiosity. Presence is not about proximity, it is about the scarcity of the man who commands it. If you are always accessible, you are invisible. Only in your absence does your true weight become apparent. The fourth law is the law of emotional liquidity. She brings chaos. It is the nature of her world to be volatile, to test and to spill over with emotional noise. The novice man tries to dam the river. He turns himself into a therapist, a sponge, or a savior. He sacrifices his equilibrium to calm her storm, and in doing so, he ceases to be the man she respects. You must practice emotional liquidity. Visualize yourself as a stone in a rushing stream. The water flows over you, around you, and past you, but the stone does not move. You offer no fix, no panic, and no surrender. Your peace is a high-value asset. It is not for trade in the marketplace of her emotional volatility. Let her noise pass through you like water, and watch how quickly she stops seeking to drown you in it. 5. In future, when you stop reacting to the chaos, you become the only source of stability she has ever known. The 5th law is the zero-sum illusion. You have been conditioned to believe that her validation is the ultimate prize. This is the zero-sum illusion, the delusion that if she likes you, you have won, and if she doesn't, you have lost. You must pivot to an economic assessment. Look at the ledger. Does this connection provide a return on your attention? Does it elevate your reality, or does it erode it? You are not looking for approval. You are looking for evidence of mutual value. When you stop seeking, you begin to see reality for what it is. You are already complete. You are the investor, not the stock. If the market isn't providing a return on your presence, you withdraw your capital. Realize that your worth is non-negotiable and does not fluctuate based on the opinion of someone who hasn't even walked half the distance you have. The 6th law is the calibration of risk thresholds. Without predefined exit criteria, you are a prisoner of your own indecision. You allow situations to linger, hoping they will improve, effectively granting her control over your boundaries. You must calibrate your risk thresholds. Know exactly where the line is, and the moment it is crossed, you exit. Think of a captain who knows exactly at what depth his ship will scrape the reef. He doesn't wait to see if the tide will rise. He turns the wheel the moment the depth gauge hits the limit. This is not a threat, it is a structural necessity. The man who is prepared to walk away at any moment is the man who cannot be coerced. Your ability to exit is your ultimate leverage. If you cannot leave, you cannot leave. The 7th law is the principle of strategic blindness. We are wired to project. We look at a woman and we map out a future. The holidays, the conversations, the life before she has even earned a seat at the table. This is future projection, a trap that blinds you to the data right in front of you. Imagine trying to see the stars through a foggy window. You've painted yourself with your own desires. Adopt strategic blindness. Close your eyes to the fantasy of what might happen. Look only at the clinical reality of what is happening. Assess the data of her actions, not the hope of your imagination. When you kill the fantasy, you are finally free to lead in the present. You no longer chase a ghost. You deal with the woman standing in front of you, and you judge her by her consistency, not your daydreams. The 8th law is the bankruptcy of auditioning. Finally, you must end the performance. Every word, every date, every move you make to impress her is an audition. You are acting for a judge who holds no authority over your worth. The moment you decide to impress her, you have liquidated your status. The show is over. You do not explain, you do not justify, and you do not perform. You simply exist as a man who knows his own value. The moment you stop auditioning, the entire dynamic collapses and resets. She will look for the performance, the chase, the validation, and she will find only the silence of a man who is whole. You are no longer a candidate in her system. You are the establishment. Hold your ground. Remain anchored. You are not lucky to have her attention. She is lucky to have yours. Never forget the man you have become, and never, under any circumstances, sacrifice the foundation of your life for a momentary distraction. You are the sovereign, and your life is not a stage for others to critique. If you are ready to stop performing and start living by these laws, like this video and subscribe to the channel. Do not just watch this philosophy, personify it.